What's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna teach you how to do the Batwing. Before we get this video started, I just want to say this video is sponsored by Centurion Boats, Hyperlight Wakeboards, and Jet Pilot Life Jackets. The tricks you're going to need to know how to do before attempting the Batwing are basically just a toe side wake-to-wake jump. A Rayleigh would be pretty helpful, and also you're going to need to know how to do an indie grab. I do have a tutorial for both the Rayleigh and the toe side wake-to-wake jump on the channel, so feel free to go check those out if you don't already know how to do them. The approach you're going to want to take for the Batwing would be to be about halfway to 3/4 of the way away from the wakes as possible, and take a medium progressive edge back in towards the wakes. If your wake is pretty small, you can edge slightly harder to get a bit more pop. Now that you're approaching the wake with that medium toe side edge, make sure that that handle is on this side of your body. Make sure you edge all the way through to the very top of the wake. You can be slightly squatted, but make sure towards the top of the wake that you are fully extended and having a nice solid push off the very peak of the wake. Now that you've edged all the way through to the very top of the wake and stood nice and tall off the top of the wake to get a nice amount of pop, you're going to want to start to drop that rear hand off the top of the wake and really start to let that board drift out behind you nice and early. You don't really want to get a good amount of air first and then let it drift behind you, because then you won't be able to pull it back down. So if you just let that board naturally drift behind you nice and early, that's going to be the best way. As the board starts to drift behind you, you can take that rear hand and drop it down and grab indie and just let it drift out even more all the way till the peak of your jump. Now that you're at the peak of your jump, your board should be fully extended behind you. Now you're going to be on your way down soon, and you're going to need to get that board back underneath you. This will be very similar to the Rayleigh, but instead of taking both hands and pushing them down to your hips to get that board back underneath you, you're going to have that handle over on the front side of your body. This will be toe side, so on the way down, you really just want to take this hand and start pushing it down towards your front hip. Really push nice and hard, and it'll bring that board back underneath you. Now that you're on the way down from the Batwing, you should be able to spot your landing the entire way. So just continue pulling that handle all the way down to your hip. Make sure that your chest is sort of over your toes. Bend your knees on impact, just right away, edging away from the boat on your toes. Some common problems I see people having with a Batwing is they almost can't commit to letting that board drift out behind them, and they'll end up doing sort of a chicken wing where it's only like a half Batwing. I think honestly you just really have to commit before you take off the wake. Just have a lot of balls, just let yourself send that board out behind you. I promise the earlier it goes out, the easier it comes back. Another problem I see people having is they'll almost let their arm get fully stretched out, and it'll get their Batwing extremely out of control. It'll almost look sloppy. Sometimes they'll miss the grab and things like that. In order to stay more in control, if you can almost keep your arm strong the entire time and don't let it noodle out, it'll almost be easier to pull the board back underneath you and stay in control. You can really just pull that handle down to your hip again, and you'll be able to get down from the Batwing more in control. I'm just going to give you a quick little summary on how to do the Batwing. Get about halfway to 3/4 of the way away from the wakes as possible. Take a nice medium edge back in towards the wakes. If you do have a smaller wake, you can edge a bit harder if you want to get more pop. As you're approaching the wake, you can be kind of crouched, but make sure off the top of the wake you stand nice and tall and push nice and hard to get that straight up pop. As you're taking off the top of the wake, you're going to want to drop that rear hand and start letting that board drift out behind you. As it's starting to drift behind you, you can grab indie, let it drift all the way out, and to bring it back down, you can take that front hand and start pulling it back down towards your front hip. You can spot your landing nice and early because you can see your landing the entire time. You'll just bend your knees on impact and ride away from the boat on your toes. that's how you do a Batwing. If you guys like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Comment below what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. And remember, I'll be uploading a wakeboarding video every second day forever. So make sure you guys subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.